Welcome to Supernatural Japan, the podcast where we dive into the eerie, the unexplained, and the legends that haunt Japan's past and present. I'm Kevin O'Shea, and today we plunge into the freezing waters of the Antarctic to uncover the mystery of a cryptid that has left internet users and conspiracy theorists questioning reality. Is there something massive, pale, and human-like lurking beneath the waves? This is the legend of the Ningen. Before we get into the tale of Ningen, we should first mention a few other Japanese urban legends that came into prominence around the same time. Now, many took off in the early 2000s in the online forum Ningen, otherwise known as 2channel in English. Now, one example of such an urban legend would be that of Hachi Shakusama, or the 8-foot-tall woman. Now, this is a terrifying yokai-like entity resembling a tall woman dressed in white with a large hat. She preys on children, emitting an eerie po, po, po sound. Those who see her are cursed to die within a few days unless a complex ritual is performed. Now, this urban legend is believed to have originated in a Ningen post, and it has since spread across the internet as a modern folklore figure. Now, another one would be that of Kisaragi Station, the train to nowhere. Now, this is a creepypasta-style story about a person who boards a train in Japan and ends up at a mysterious, non-existent station called Kisaragi Station. The station is in an eerie, abandoned landscape with no exits or people. Now, the person who documents their experiences, or the people who document their experiences visiting this train station, put these experiences on Ningen before the thread disappeared. Now, many similar lost station legends have since surfaced, reinforcing the fear of the supernatural, and the supernatural train travel. Now, one more modern urban legend that has its kind of birthplace in Ningen would be that of the Akamanto, or the red cloak ghost. Now, this is a haunted restroom spirit that appears in public or school bathrooms. Now, you may be using the bathroom and a mysterious voice asks, "Do you want red paper or blue paper?" Choosing red results in a violent death, being slashed open. Choosing blue results in suffocation or being drained of blood. The only way to survive is to ignore the question and run. Now, the legend itself is a little bit older, but Ningen discussions have expanded and modernized it. Now, let's talk about the Ningen, the focus of this episode. The story of Ningen first surfaced in the mid-2000s on Japanese internet forums, particularly on the famous Nichan, where an anonymous user claimed that crew members aboard a Japanese government research vessel had encountered a bizarre creature in the Antarctic. The accounts describe a massive humanoid entity, up to 30 meters long, rising from the icy depths before vanishing into the darkness. Some say the Ningen has elongated arms and fingers. Others claim it has a mermaid-like tail. Almost all reports agree on one thing. It is ghostly white, eerily smooth, and almost human. But does this deep-sea enigma truly exist? Or is it just another internet-born legend? The name Ningen simply means human in Japanese, which makes this cryptid all the more unsettling. Unlike other folklore creatures rooted in centuries-old myths, the Ningen is a modern legend, driven by online speculation and blurry photos that claim to capture its form. One key source that propelled the legend forward was an article published in 2007 in the Japanese paranormal magazine, Mu, which explored the possibility of unidentified humanoid sea creatures. This article suggested that these creatures might be real and that government organizations were suppressing information about them. And that brings us to one of the more intriguing theories. What if Ningen is a classified discovery? Some cryptid enthusiasts believe that the Japanese government and global scientific agencies know more than they're letting on. Could the Ningen be some undiscovered deep-sea species? A military experiment gone wrong? Or is it simply a case of misidentified marine life? Now, there are rational explanations, of course. Some experts suggest that supposed Ningen sightings are actually beluga whales, whose pale bodies resemble human-like shapes. Some believe that they are giant manta rays or oarfish, which move in ways that can create eerie illusions. Or, quite simply, tricks of the eye, icebergs, shadows, and imagination at play in the vast lonely ocean. But let's not forget, some people swear they have seen something out there. Take, for example, an alleged eyewitness account from a Japanese fisherman. He and his crew were sailing near Antarctic waters when they noticed a strange, smooth shape beneath their vessel. At first, they thought it was an unusually large whale, but as they watched, the creature moved in an unnatural way, almost too gracefully, too intelligently. Then, to their horror, they saw what looked like a massive pale white hand break the surface. Before they could react, it had disappeared into the ocean's abyss. So, is it a case of mistaken identity, or did they really encounter something unknown? Whatever the case, this story is one of many fueling the legend of the Ningen. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Ningen continues to thrive in internet culture. It has been the subject of YouTube documentaries, fictional horror stories, and even inspired appearances in anime and manga. In many ways, it has taken on a life of its own. Another example of how modern technology can create myths just as powerful as those told for centuries. So, what do you think? Is the Ningen a real cryptid, hidden in the depths, a case of mass internet hysteria, or simply an elaborate hoax? Have you heard of any first-hand accounts, or do you have any theories of your own? We'd love to hear them. Now, for photos of the Ningen to see what it looks like, of course, check out the Supernatural Japan Instagram feed. You want to go over there to Supernatural Japan on Instagram and check it out. And I have to admit that me, Kevin O'Shea, your host, personally speaking, I've seen pictures, blurry pictures of the Ningen, and I have to admit, to me, it looks awfully like sea ice. That's what I think. Sea ice. But go over to the Supernatural Japan Instagram feed, check out the photos I've posted from the research found online, and you let me know what you think it looks like. Well, that's it for this episode of Supernatural Japan. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, leave a review, and follow us on social media for more eerie tales from Japan's supernatural side. All of these episodes are, of course, available on the Busan Kevin YouTube channel. And if you have your own supernatural experiences in Japan or anywhere else in the world, please send them to me at supernaturaljapan@gmail.com. We may just share your story in a future episode. You can find me, of course, Kevin O'Shea, your host and podcast producer, over on Instagram at Supernatural Japan. I'm on Blue Sky and X at Mad for Maple. And we have a Facebook page. We'd love to have you join us. All the links are below in the show notes. Everything is there. So, until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and keep your eyes on the water. You never know what's lurking just beneath the surface.